Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verses 1 through 14. Now, Jesus starts off by saying, do not let your hearts be troubled. And part of the reason he's saying this is because his own heart is troubled. He has said this in chapters 12 and 13. His hour has come to go to the cross and to be glorified by suffering. And he's also said that his heart is troubled because his own disciples don't get it. They're going to abandon him and deny him and betray him. And so his own heart is troubled. But he says to us, let your hearts be, to be lifted up and calmed. Now, what troubles our hearts? There are real things that trouble our hearts. And we get so caught up with the problems of this world, but Jesus is telling us throughout this passage, believe in me. I am the answer to your troubles. In fact, Jesus says, I'm going ahead of you. I'm going before you. I am going there. I'm going where you don't want to go, really, because Jesus goes before you to your own eternal damnation. He goes before you to your eternal destiny because he goes to the cross, right? And in the cross is the greatest moment of despair. It is when all the sin of this world is poured into him, and he has gone before you in order to make a way for you to go to eternity, to be in that eternal home with the Father. And so we have reason to hope because he's making a way for us. He is the way for us, right? He says, you know the way to the place I'm going. What is that way? That way is to die to this world, as he's told us before, right? To die to this world and to live for the kingdom, just as he's going to do. And Thomas says, we don't know the way. How can we know? We don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? And he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. We all face a crisis of belief. Will we believe the lies and distortions of this world? Will we believe that our problems and our distress are greater? Or will we trust and believe in God the Father and the one whom he has sent, Jesus Christ? Jesus is the way because he is the forerunner of our faith. He has gone through the cross into the resurrection and eternity to make a way for us. He is the truth because all truth ultimately is relational. And the ultimate truth, the ultimate relationship is in God through Jesus Christ. And he is the life because he is the Son of God who is the creator, and through him pours out the life of not just creation, but the life of resurrection. And so he goes on to say, Philip says, show us the Father. Jesus is like, really, Philip? I've been with you all this time and you still don't get it? If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. If you see what I have done and what I've said, you have seen what the Father does, and you've heard what the Father has said, because the Father is in me. And says, I'm not doing this on my own authority. It's because the Father has sent me to do his work. And so he says in verse 12, very truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me, that they also will do these works and do even greater. Not works of the world, but works of the kingdom. And in truth, hasn't the church spread all over the world? How can God be at work in you? So will you trust Jesus is the way? Do you know who Jesus is and that the Father lives in him? Thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.